Everyone. I hope you are doing well. Welcome to the second episode of Relax Riches. Today, specifically, we're going to be talking about firstly, choices over circumstances, and secondly, having it all. Like, what does it really take for you to have it all? Okay, in the previous episode, like the voice, it had like way too much echo. So I hope it's good now so that the voice is good and it doesn't have a lot of echo or the volume is fine. So we're just going to go with that. A question that I was asked in my DMs last week that kind of like stayed with me, and I know this have been something that people think about quite often, which is if I'm like heavily focusing on one thing, like other areas of my life suffer, or that if I get this, then I won't be able, like I have to focus on one thing. If I want something, that's one thing I have to focus on, right? There's no way I can have it all. Okay, this also stems from the root belief, which is I can't have it all, right? Like some area or something like something has to be sacrificed for me to then have this. That is the essential belief, which is like I can't have it all, right? Some area of my life has to take a backseat for me to then have this. This really impacts us because we have this feeling, again, this is you, even if it doesn't seem like it, like on like a broader perspective, it seems like, oh my god, like I don't think like that, I'm pretty confident, I have it in the bag, I don't have to worry about this. But in all honesty, when you ask yourself, it is coming from that. It is coming from the root core belief, which is I can't have it all, right? Like some sacrifice has to be made. It just can't come that easily, right? Things just can't happen out of the blue for me, right? I have to work towards it. Even the mindset that if this happens, then this won't happen. It is like I have to work towards a better relationship with my husband. I have to work towards my business. I have to work towards my own health. Like these are the things, like I have to work towards it. Like there's no other way that I can just receive as I am, right? So that is like the core belief. Those are the two core beliefs that I can particularly pick out when you're thinking that way. And the way identity shifting helps with this is that when you move your focus to being that highest version of yourself, right? And the more consistently you do it, the more you will realize that right from the moment you were born, you were in that state of fitra, right? You were in the purest, the most blessed form. Even when you were born, you didn't have to be worried about someone changing your diaper. You don't have to be worried about someone giving you food. You don't have to worry about like the temperature of the room. You were taken care of, right? But as we grew up, we gathered more evidence. We gathered limiting beliefs, or the way we saw life was the way that we have to work towards it. I have to work if I want to be successful. I have to earn my keep, right? Like it can't just happen. But if you go back to what is being said literally in every major religion, including Islam, is that you just have to ask. Like I remember this one instant that companions were sitting with the Prophet, and Prophet ﷺ saw this one man. He came and he prayed 2 rakahs and he left. So Prophet ﷺ called him and he was like, what are you doing? Like what were you doing just now? Right? So he said, yeah, I wanted salt. Right? So I came and I prayed to Allah for it. Imagine, like salt, something so we don't even think about it, right? So it wasn't ever that you had to work towards these things. Even when Allah said about tying your camel, it was mostly about who you're being and how you're putting in effort. Hi Rosanna, how are you? Oh my god, I'm so excited. I'll get back to your message, and do send me what you said you're going to send me. And if you have any questions before that, we can hop into that as well. So essentially, it is you stepping into the highest belief that, and you giving it to yourself more than anything. It's like, I get to have everything I want without actively working towards it. Because to be honest, all the women that I've worked with in close proximity, I know how much effort you put in. And sometimes that's not coming from a place of, okay, fine, I'm worthy and deserving of everything that I desire. It's coming from all the past times that you had to stand up for yourself. The first time I ever did shadow work on this particular aspect of myself, it was stemming from exactly that. I could see the 9-year-old me literally, like at the inner conversation I had with that 9-year-old me was that it was like, you have to earn this, Aisha. Like, you can't just sit back and have this. You have to put an effort. You have to raise your hand. You have to study hard. You have to participate in all of these different things, and only then you will have everything. You have to work for it. And that's the reason it took me over 6 months to actually let go of the idea that action is not what creates. It is your state of being. The only situation when action works with you is when you are in that alignment, like this current state of being. Like, I am channeling that. I am being in the knowing of who I know to be. And then this life that I'm doing, this is in like congruence with that. Right? So action is never really necessary. So this idea that I have to earn it, I have to work towards different areas of my life, is coming from the root belief, which is like, firstly, I have to work for everything I want in life, and secondly, I can't have it all. Like, some area of my life has to suffer or like be on the back burner. Like, I can't have it all. That is like the root belief of it. So when you move yourself into the higher perspective of you, when you move yourself to that highest version of you, you will see, like, for me, when I visualize her, she already has a kingdom, dude. Like, she's not bothered about creating anything. All she does is she chills in her garden of prosperity and abundance, and she like engages in all things she enjoys. She's making poetry all the time. She's creating all of these amazing things in her life, and then eventually, like, things work out for her. I know that in her kingdom, like my higher self in her kingdom, she has like all of these people who she's helping, and she has like line of people like at her door wanting to work with her, like all of these kings and queens from different like realms and different planets are coming to her for that deeper level transformation. And that's the belief I hold, right? So it's never like I'm working for it. It's like I have it already. I just have to get into the right headspace to believe that I can have it and be there. And the only problem that happens when you're doing that is that your past shadow aspects, every bad experience that you have had, it's been stored in a subconscious version of you, right? And that version of you plays out. So when you're triggered, when you're angry, someone upsets you, that shadow aspects literally takes over. And that's why you have people that are like, oh my god, I got so angry, I literally lost it. I don't know why this happened. It felt like something took over me. Like, I used to feel like that all the time. Like, when my husband would trigger me or something didn't go my way, I would just lash out and I'd be like, I don't even recognize this version of myself, right? That's because that shadow aspect has been fed in you. So when you're trying to shift identities, these shadow aspects, like, their existence relies on you getting triggered. Their existence relies on you reacting from a place of fear and reacting from a place of need and lack. So when you're changing your conscious awareness to that higher self, which is all love and she has everything, it's abundance and success, then all of these shadow aspects that has been governing your life, these are all fragmented bits of your consciousness that has been like in existence for the longest time, they will feel like they're threatened, right? So they will not let you have or step into that identity. So the best way for you to do is like take their energy back, take your energy back from them. And the best way to do that is either release these shadow aspects or you integrate them towards the way that you're going. So now how I do it is, if I have anger come up, if I have guilt come up, if I have something unfavorable come up, I sit down with myself and I just check in with all of my shadow aspects. I have a few of them. So I check in, like, who's getting bothered? Like, why is this shadow aspect showing up? Like, what is the real thing? Why is she finding it hard for me to let go? Then that is how you integrate them into you, into the same force. Like, imagine all this time you were working with your own energy, right? But when you integrate your shadow aspects, it's like you have that whole army with you. You have your whole force with you. You have all of these different shadow aspects, their conscious awareness, their intellectual abilities. Like, I have a shadow aspect who like overthinks like this. Like, she loves overthinking. She will exaggerate every little thing, right? So instead of letting her create more fear and create more doubt, what I do now is I will use her abilities towards, making my visualizations even more specific. I use her abilities to overthink on my goals, overthink on my desires. So you see what I'm doing here? You get to have full monopoly over your consciousness. And damn, like the beauty of this at the like I'm tripping on this because it almost feels like a drug now when I'm living my life and I'm creating consciously. It just feels like magic. And I'm telling you, this has a reflection on literally every area of your life. When I started stepping into that conscious awareness, I had career opportunities show up out of the blue. My husband had like a massive promotion. My like all the issues that I had with my kids, that sort of like kept dying down. I had like amazing relationship with my son. My husband started spoiling me out of the blue. He started getting me flowers. He started getting me gifts. And all I did was I was just in that conscious awareness of being like, oh my God, like I am, like I'm valued, I am provided for, I am loved, I am accepted. Right? I don't have to work for it. I am in this constant state of receiving. I'm in this constant state of not worrying. I am in this state of being provided for. Right? So you will see that reflection in literally all areas of your life. So if you are in that state of choosing, so every time you doubt, right? Like every single time you doubt, you are choosing fear over faith. Every time you doubt, you're choosing fear over faith, and you're confirming to the identity that is being manifested by that shadow aspect of fear. And literally, when I first did that, when I was dealing with that shadow aspect, it felt like this mountain of volcano, right? That's how my fear manifested. It showed up as this mountain of volcano. It was all scaly and it was dark and it had like lava pouring out of it, and it was just sitting there. It was staring at me, and I was trying to deal with it. I was like, okay, so what do you want from me? Why are you here? What are you trying to create for me? And then it started reflecting to me all the times that I felt unsafe in my life. So this fear, it had to be manifested in that form and literally play the role of a huge, gigantic mountain of fear, mountain of volcano on my subconscious, because that is what was helping me feel safe. That was what was helping me feel stable, right? Because growing up, when we have uncertainties, when we have things out of our control, we are constantly feeling unsafe. Maybe I needed that fear mountain to ground me, to keep me in place, to hold me and make me feel like, even if it was working out in a very negative manner, it was that mountain of fear that was there. But the thing was, when I asked this fear aspect of me, I was like, okay, fine. Oh my God, I'm getting so emotional while I'm talking about this. When I asked this aspect of me, and it said that it loves me so much. It said that it loves me so much, and it saw me as a 7-year-old. The fear, like for that mountain of fear, the way it saw me was that I was 7-year-old, and all fear did was try to protect me. Even up until this point, every time I'm overwhelmed with fear, I just remind myself this fear is trying to protect me. I just have to like integrate this fear into who I am and who I'm being. So I had to like constantly keep understand what is this fear wanting. It's wanting to confirm that I'm safe. It's wanting to confirm that I am taken care of, right? I'm no longer that vulnerable 7-year-old who had no idea about where life is going, what is happening in her life. All fear wants me to do is to affirm that I'm safe right now. I'm safe and I am taken care of. There is nothing physically harming me. Like I have so much control over my reality. I have so much control over how I am, where I am, the environment that I'm in. It's safe. Like I am taken care of. I have people who love me. I don't have to be in this constant state of uncertainty, right? So that is how I process that particular aspect of me. And it has, like I said, the one sentence that will keep helping you keep bringing you back is every time you doubt, every time you have fear come up, it's you giving more power to that fear aspect of you and not giving enough power to the faith aspect of you. So when you are like really operating that tawakkul, you should have that strong conviction that I've made dua for this. So if I don't get what I want, I'll get something even 10 times better than this. Or if it's not turning up in my life, there is something way better, or it is something that it's going to be beyond my imagination. Because when you look at your life, that's how your life is. You get everything that is beyond your imagination, right? Again, that's a belief that you have to cultivate. If you're like, my duas never get accepted, then I don't know what to tell you, right? So where are you giving your energy and focus to? Are you giving it to fear so that that mountain gets bigger and bigger? Or are you giving it to faith? Are you giving it to tawakkul on Allah? Are you giving it to, yes, Allah will provide for me. Yes, Allah will take care of me. I know so many people who will make these big bold duas, but then they'll follow it up with, but my duas never get accepted, right? It's your shadow aspect. Trust me, like even like my relationship with Allah and the relationship that I have with Islam has gotten so deep because the amount of guilt I had, oh my god, this is a whole another life, to be honest, because the amount of guilt I had for of not being a good enough Muslim, right? I had to do like literal shadow work around it so that my relationship with Allah is not so, it didn't have these barriers. It didn't have this guilt and shame wrapped up around it. I couldn't pray well. I always felt so guilty. I always felt like I'm a bad person, right? So that's about another topic. If you want me to do a live on that, we can do that. And I have to go because my kids will come any moment. And I hope this was an important one. I really felt like I needed to talk these things through. And I knew that no amount of post or no amount of writing could do that. I saw a few comments. Let me just go over them. Okay. Well said. Manifestation is about how to ask from Allah. Yes, exactly. And stepping into that state of tawakkul, that Allah will give you that or something even better, and then letting go, not being in the state of worry. Because when we think about it, even the negative thoughts that you have, they are waswasa from shaitan, right? It's shaitan making you think that, yeah, you did that, but who knows, right? Better go and apply 10 more jobs. Yeah, you did that, but who knows, right? So it's shaitan creating that. Oh my god, thank you so much. I think the great visual description. I think you meant this about the volcanic mountain. It just came like that just happened in the identity shifting meditation. Yes, faith over fear. Every time, like you will get that. The more you train yourself to know, is this thought coming from fear? Is this coming from faith? You will get that instantly. Like now I don't have to sit down and connect with my intuition and be like, okay, fine, what am I feeling right now? I'll get that feeling instantly. Sometimes it's even in things like, oh my god, should I have coffee or should I have tea? It just comes and I'm like, okay, fine, yeah, that's what I want to be having. What is it that you really, really deep down want to be doing? I know so many people who are living lives that they feel stuck in, but like they don't see any other way around it, right? They don't see any other way around it. Like this is what it is, what it is. It is what it is. Trust me, if I would have settled for the life I was manifesting back 5 years ago, I would still be living in miserable conditions. I wouldn't be a good mom. I wouldn't be a good coach. I wouldn't be a good daughter. I was resentful. I was complaining all the time. I was bitter and I was like pissed off at everyone. I was literally energy sucking monster. Everyone like who would try to talk to me, I would be complaining to them to the point that they didn't want to talk to me, right? So no matter how stuck you feel in life right now, whether that's in your work, whether that's in your life, whether that's in your relationship, whether that's in your marriage, trust me, it's projecting off of a shadow aspect that you have. And I have seen when we do shadow work with clients, oh my god, like the shifts that happen are like next level. I don't want to invade someone's privacy by saying this, but I had people's, like the way toxic people and narcissistic people were showing up in my client's life, they dropped, right? We did a shadow aspect on one of this version of herself that was very critical. We did the shadow aspect on that aspect of her, and within a few days, that toxic person that was causing so much trouble in her life, they woke up and they left. And you know why that happened? Because they had nothing to project off of. So every toxic person in your life, every unfavorable circumstance in your life is a reflection of a shadow aspect that is in you. You know what? The call is from inside the house. Stop finding people and complaining to people and looking for ways on how you can solve, change other people, change your situation. The call is coming from inside the house. There is something in you that you need to mend, you need to integrate, that you need to release, so that that negative thing that has been persisting has nothing to show, has nothing to reflect off of, right? And when you release all of these things, you will attract like 10 times better version of yourself. You will attract people's like do you know people who are like, oh my god, this person is so giving, and you're like, oh my god, this person has been terrible to me. You know, people like, even the most terrible bosses, they have one or two like very favorable or very favorite people, and they have a very different experience with this person. That's because they are reflecting a shadow aspect of you. They're showing up as a oh my god, I'm choking up. They're reflecting as a version of you that you need to deal with. Okay, this is why you I recently saw this post somewhere. Oh my god, this life is getting so, it's split in so many different directions, but I always trust in the way this knowledge shows up. I read a post recently which was like, why is it that you either marry your controlling mothers, or you marry your silent, or you marry your silent fathers or distant fathers, right? And that just blew my mind, dude. Like, you get married to a version, a version of your parents that actually hurt you the most. And this is not blaming your parents, it's you. It is the perspective you had of them that needs healing. It's an opportunity for you to go back to that little girl in you and parent up with identity shifting, right? Because I know so many people who do so much inner child work, but it's never being integrated into their day-to-day life. It's never really been integrated into the embodiment piece of it. So it feels like it's not reflecting anywhere, like your inner work is not landing anywhere, or that your quantum leaping is not landing, right? So I think that's it for today. I will see if I can go live tomorrow. If you have any questions in any areas, as I said, identity shifting, shadow work, business, mindset, relationships, like literally, alhamdulillah, every area, DM me, and I will make a live on it, inshallah.